Good evening, everyone. So we are back again today with the month of digital climate action with Bring Back Green Foundation, Fridays for Future India, and Greenpeace India. And we've had a little night rain yesterday, and it's also green and nice around. And it feels like any other day good enough to talk about ecofeminism. So ecofeminism as a theory, it evolved in the mid-1970s alongside the second wave of feminism and the Green Movement. Ecofeminism, it believes that the dominance of women and degradation of environment have interconnections, that both of these are consequences of capitalism and patriarchy. It also goes on to believe that in the future, liberation of one of this cannot be achieved without the liberation of the other. For instance, we cannot achieve women's rights, complete women equality at the sake of environment. Neither can we have improvements in environment or nature at the sake of women's rights. So basically, ecofeminism is a feminist perspective of ecology. It takes into consideration very much like the feminist movement, it actually does not call for the placement of women in the topmost or the dominant position in the power structure. It rather calls for a very egalitarian, very collaborative society where there is no one dominant group. So this theory, it draws parallels between the oppression of women and oppression or degradation of environment. And these, like I told you, are from the confluence of patriarchy and capitalism as well. So to talk about that, well, we all know how capitalism works. It is a materialistic, it has a very materialistic model, especially after the scientific revolution, where everything came to be seen as mere resources. The water, the minerals, the food, and even us humans. We are no longer just humans, we are human resources, which means we, along with all the other minerals and natural resources, can be used, named, distributed, and discarded at will, or rather exploited at will. And this is the core of capitalism. And this was actually a jump from what we were used to in the beginning of civilization. Or we rather used to be pagans. We used to worship the water, the river, the mountains, the wind. We used to be scared of them. We used to revere them. And so we respected nature. But then came the advent of patriarchal religions. And if we look closely, all these major religions have the split image of man as the central figure. Or rather, we started moving away from worshipping nature to worshipping man and patriarchal hierarchies. And these patriarchal hierarchies and capitalism, it led to the separation of nature and culture. And that is seen as one of the core causes of all planetary ills today. And not just this, there is this particular view that ecofeminism as a theory it explores, and that has to do with how patriarchal structure, it reinforces its dominance through binary opposition. They've created all these binaries, you see, like the heaven and earth, body and spirit, human and animal, white, non-white, male, female. And it's like nothing exists outside of these realms of binaries. Everything has to be thought in these binaries, and that became the truth for societies to evolve, and that is where the core problem lies, and that is where the oppression of women and oppression of nature goes hand in hand, because both of us started being treated as mere properties, nature as well as women, something that can be owned, something that can be distributed, something that can be exploited. So these are the major theories within ecofeminism, and ecofeminism has many views, and all these lead to different branches, and all the branches, they have theories around the core perspective that they believe in. So there is spiritual ecofeminism, there is vegetarian ecofeminism, all kinds. And with all these multitudes of branches that it has, this is not without criticisms either. So one major criticism that makes sense to me is how certain branches, it draws these mystic comparisons between environment or nature and women. like how women are so caring and nurturing and so motherly, just like Mother Nature. And this, I think, is wrong, because it is again reinforcing these gender stereotypes we are fighting against, and I don't believe it is very progressive. Another valid point is how ecofeminism, it talks about drawing parallels between the oppression of women and oppression of environment. However, it doesn't take into consideration all women. It does not talk about the differences that exist between women. And that means a lot of women are excluded from this dialogue, which I think is a major problem. So in short, ecofeminism has its, like any other theory and movement, has certain issues too. However, it has been evolving with age through environmental justice movements that are more that include more perspectives and is more plural and more intersectional. So like I told you, there are many more branches and so much more to learn about ecofeminism ever since 1990s, when it started having an impact on UN and its policies and other global policies. And I think I should leave you and the lockdown time that you have to go and explore more of these. So let's meet tomorrow with a new topic within gender and nature. So until then, ta-ta, bye-bye.